crazy, dude.
But hey, you know what? Let's so tonight, tonight we just got through watching the Western Conference Finals game two. Houston dropped the second straight on the road series. They're now 0-2. In most cases in a seven-game series, especially when you get to Eastern Conference Finals or Finals, pretty much 100% of the time, the team down 0-2 loses. So the series looks like it's probably over, especially since Houston doesn't have a functioning coaching staff. What did you guys see tonight? Greg, what you see?
Well, here's what's interesting, right? And this is why I don't want to count Houston out, honestly, is because I thought the same thing when the Clippers had Houston, on the ground, ready for the curb stomp, right?
That's absolutely correct. Good point, man. Absolutely.
I mean, it's clear that somewhere in Houston's identity, in the minds of James Harden and Dwight Howard and these guys, right, who really want to win, it is part of their identity to make ridiculous comebacks and get back into series. Get back into a series where they have no right to be in it anymore, right? So, and we saw it tonight too, right? Like, I was kind of towards the end of the second quarter, I was on the verge of like going and doing something else and like saying, "Hey guys, you want to start this up early or something?" Because I'm like, the wheels are falling off and it's over. Bogut's blocking shots, guys are getting in transition. Steph's got 5 threes in the first half or whatever the hell he had, but that and still, like, you can't count out guys like James Harden who can really do everything. Guys like Dwight Howard who are always going to be the most dominant force on the glass and under the rim in this series for sure, and in most series. So, I mean, I think it's hard to count them out. I still like their chances to win both games in Houston and then come back and make it a series when they come back to Golden State.
They're not counted out, but they can't afford to play like this with this team. This team is not the Clippers. They are a well-oiled machine, and they have players like fucking Barbosa, who that dude was out in he was like out in Oblivia somewhere for a number of years. He's back giving them solid roster men. See, this is what I'm talking about. Good teams, like this Golden State team, dude. They don't roll anybody out there that does not contribute. Sean Livingston, this dude is lights out. They don't have anybody on their roster that doesn't give you something every single game.
No, you know what? Here, let me stop you there, and that's an excellent point.
That's an excellent point.
The Golden State Warriors, they start Andrew Bogut at the 5, Draymond Green at the 4, Harrison Barnes at the 3, and then the guards are obviously Curry and Thompson. Off the bench, Andre Iguodala, which that dunk he had was just ignorant. That didn't make no sense. Andre Iguodala, Leandro Barbosa, Sean Livingston, and then their cluster, Festus Ezeli. But keep in mind, Festus Ezeli played instead of David Lee. They also have Justin Holiday, and they have Bob McAdoo's kid. Mm-hmm. So that's their roster.
Yeah.
Now think about that roster and compare that to all the other rosters in the entire league. They actually have 12 basketball players.
Yeah.
Probably the only team that has
I agree with you.
Probably the only team that has that setup.
I'll say this: they're the only team not sporting a Eurobum, right? I mean, when you think about it,
their Eurobum is Bogut, unfortunately.
Right. Who I don't count, right? I don't count him.
Which is a very good Eurobum to have if you're gonna have him.
No, he's actually a legitimate basketball player. He's bad, but he's a basketball player.
Yeah. So, I'm with you. I can't argue with that. Most of the teams in the league are built badly.
And I compare that to the Houston Rockets, and the Houston Rockets. Dwight Howard. Josh Smith starts at the 4 for some reason. I don't know why Terrence Jones didn't start.
I don't either. He may not be 100%.
Yeah, Terrence Jones. They were both equally playing like crap the last series, so I feel like it's just any given night. I don't think Terrence Jones is playing any better than Josh Smith. Josh Smith probably won the last series for him because he hit those 2 threes in the fourth quarter against the Clippers, and he basically sealed the fate. Like in that game, was that Game 6? I mean, he had like 14 points, at least 14 points in the fourth quarter. So I feel like he probably won that starting position off of his play in that series because he played his ass off that series. And Terrence really,
I would agree with that.
yeah, and I think they were both bad towards the beginning of that series, but he kind of won it roll back. But it's always been feast or famine with
Josh Smith.
Smith, and that's just to my point. Like, there's nobody on the Warriors that nobody plays bad on that team. It's really remarkable how those guys run around defensively. They shoot a bunch of contested jump shots. They hit a lot of them, and they don't have any glaring weaknesses as a team. They really don't. They have the nerve to put Draymond Green at the 5, and it doesn't hurt them. If anything, it helps them.
Well, you heard their plus minus. They said it during the game.
Oh yeah, the plus minus when he's at the 5.
But that lineup, they killed him. They beat people by 20 points when he's in that slot. I mean, it's ridiculous.
That team is a really special team, and I know you guys disagree with me about Steve Kerr and everything like that.
I didn't disagree.
I did. The senior basketball analyst for the record. Wholeheartedly, because I just explained it. This team is the only team with actual and here's the thing. I'm going to be fair, and I'm not going to count the Justin Holidays of the world, even though I know he can play, because he doesn't play anymore. I'm not even going to count David Lee. Right. But they have 8 basketball players.
David Lee.
There isn't anybody else. They have 8 basketball players in rotation. There isn't anybody else that has more than 4. There is not any other team alive that has more than 4. And these are the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. There is not a single team. I'm looking at Houston right now. They're relying on Josh Smith, and he goes. Where is Josh Smith? Oh,
5
he goes
17.
5-17. He goes 5-17.
No reason.
Wait, ask me why he took 17 shots. Ask me why he took almost as many shots as James Harden.
Is that number 2 in shots taken?
That is. By a good margin.
Of course,
by a good margin.
They don't have a coach. So whoever is watching, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of back when I was a kid. And you'd be, junior and senior year. It was summertime, and you playing summer league, and the coach has to sit at the top of the bleachers, and isn't allowed to talk to you, and you can do whatever you want. That's what it reminds me of. When just somebody's just gunning. That's how he plays with his professional basketball. But Kevin McHale, I don't know what he was doing all those years in a Boston Celtics jersey, but that dude does not know of a single play. He doesn't know of it. I've never seen that. I've never seen that before, where somebody has that kind of pedigree. You could be a Scott Brooks. You could be a Lawrence Frank or some clown like that. And it's like, why would he know what he's doing? But Kevin McHale, he should at least know what a play looks like. He should be able to draw up something and say, go run it.
I think he defers a lot to the creative genius of James Harden, as Van Gundy called him during the game.
That was funny.
Yeah.
He is, James Harden is, man. James Harden's a basketball savant, man.
He is.
He is. I mean,
I think he's the best shooting guard in basketball, and I don't think it's close. Obviously,
it isn't.
No, it ain't. It isn't close. And man, when people start with that, and you know what? Let me comment on this now. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Jeff Van Gundy. Klay Thompson didn't make all defensive. Well, why? He's in the middle of getting hit for 40. What do you mean? When you ever see Tony Allen get hit for 40?
Right.
Seriously. Can you remember in the last 5 or 6 years, like Tony Allen ain't been hit for that many? In fact, he never has, because back when he was
I don't think so.
And Charlie Billups was pump faking him into the sky.
Please don't take me back to those days, dude. I don't want to remember, dude.
No, Tony Allen, man, was the most infuriating dude, because Doc would put him in there to lock down a superstar. And he would go pump faking into the sky, man. He would just go flying.
That's very bad judgment on Van Gundy for a number of reasons, but I think the main reason is that
He works for that sports network that sometimes shows sports, but really is about talk drama, and they gave him some talking points.
it's kind of how like MTV like doesn't show any videos anymore. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So it's like
It's kind of like that.
It's like just there, like forgot what the mission was, and like
yeah. Yeah. Like,
you know what? The series, like with Clay. In fact, you know, we can talk a little bit about. Let's talk about the all defensive team because
All right.
I want to talk about a glaring omission, and this is just this to me. I don't even know. I didn't look it up because you know what? This is not going to be the.
Are you?
Let's be anal retentive about the stats and who's doing what. I don't know who votes on all defensive. Whoever it is, though, they're a bunch of clowns because they left LeBron James off of the all defensive team entirely. LeBron James doesn't even give up drives to the basket, let alone giving up points. He doesn't give up good shots at all.
what is it?
Anything.
You know, so you have touched on one of the things I thought was great about this year's list, but also one of the like, it's almost like they purposely went too hard in the wrong direction kind of thing. Like every year you get one of the kind of established superstar diva types, right, that have to go on the list. For a long time, Kobe always had to get on the list.
Yep, I remember
LeBron had to be on the list. One of these guys had to be on the list. Chris Paul is kind of actually like, given the endorsements, given the status in the league and all that stuff, he's kind of one of those superstars, except he really is the best
also doesn't
defender.
give up any points, though.
He earned
He's also the best defender in the league, bro.
that. He earned that.
Like, pound for pound, he's the best defender in basketball. I've seen him go defend Kobe before.
Real quick before you continue, I just want to add something about Chris Paul. Not only does Chris Paul not get scored on and give up horrible shooting percentages, because I think his lead percentage was something like it is in 30s. But he also is, in this era of basketball, he's one of only 2 point guards that I know of that guards out of position.
Oh yeah,
Patrick Beverly is the only
he'll take James Harden. He'll take the team's best.
Yep.
Take the team's best guard.
I've seen him shut down Kobe in clutch moments of games. I've seen him go and take that assignment and do it.
Dude, they put him on Durant and it totally stymied the third, dude. On Durant.
Yeah.
It's probably more
just go ahead and
coaching. That's more lack of coaching than anything. Because you can't. It's not like you can block Kevin Durant's shot. He can hit fadeaways like it's nothing. I don't know why they just put him in a post and just dump it to him all game, but whatever.
Well, you keep in mind, you got to keep in mind about the low quality of basketball player we have today. Because that play, remember the play where Andrew Bogut got called for a foul on the repost by Dwight Howard?
Yeah.
Remember that play?
Yeah.
What Corey Brewer was trying to do didn't make sense. It didn't make sense if you're a good high school player.
Well, yeah.
You don't enter the ball to the block from the top of the key. It's a horrible angle.
Yeah.
Like you don't even do that.
Yeah, that
was you got to have people that can pass the ball into the post, and you have to have a set where you're in the right place to enter the ball.
Yeah.
Where he was in, it was a horrible angle, but that was why Bogut held him down because he would have had a free ride to the basket, but it was just a very terrible pass. But But back to our defensive team. I really feel like they got it right this time.
Largely,
there really isn't like a league like. There really isn't like a first ballot Hall of Fame type like person who just kind of is in there because for whatever reason. I mean, everybody on this list, Kawhi Leonard, even though he ended up winning Defensive Player of the Year, and DeAndre Jordan got screwed again.
Does he have any, by the way? Does DeAndre have any?
Did what?
He didn't have any Defensive Player of the Year awards, right?
No, he's not.
He's only been good for
the previous year, and he's not even on second team all defensive.
No, he's first team. He's first team.
No, DeAndre's first team, dude.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan's first team.
Last year?
No, this year. I'm sorry.
No, not last
what I mean is, yeah, I know, but well, okay, right, sorry. Um, what I mean by him being, he was, I feel like he was snubbed last year for being
Mhm.
arguably one of the like best defenders in the league. And I thought he had a shot at defensive player of the year.
He was snubbed last year. That wasn't
He
my
was
pick.
snubbed. That's what I mean. But not only that, he didn't make the first or second all defensive team, which is a travesty. But I digress. Whatever. This year's team is very good. Draymond Green is showing us this series that I mean he's obviously a force to be reckoned with.
Mhm.
I mean Daryl and I were talking the other day, and he compares him to Jeff Green a lot. But the guy's, I think he's better than Jeff Green. I think he's more importantly the stuff like
I'm about to look up Jeff Green's stats right now because you're forgetting how good Jeff Green is supposed to be.
no, but you know what it is though, dude. Like it's when you got a guy like Draymond Green. Draymond Green isn't scared, and this is kind of like when we always have these Dwight Howard conversations, and you always think we hate Dwight Howard. It's something to be said about somebody who does not take any shit from anybody.
Jeff Green averaged 16 points a game, 16 points, 5 rebounds, a steal, and half a block in his second year.
No, I'm
Can you imagine if Draymond Green averaged 16 a game? How much like they already like last shot. Can you imagine?
But Draymond's also getting like 10 boards a game or something like that.
Draymond Green like covers triple doubles like on a nightly basis.
He doesn't
In the
average 10 boards a
playoffs, in the
game.
playoffs, he's averaging 10 boards a game.
Oh, he
Draymond
might be in the playoffs, but not
Draymond Green is like gotta be averaging at least 8 boards a game for the season.
Well, so here's my thing. Draymond Green does it on a team when it matters, on a team that's winning, right? I mean, we talk about this all
Jeff
the
was
time.
playing for Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City was awesome.
No, they weren't. Not then. Not then they weren't.
Jeff Green was a starting contributor on a really good
No,
Oklahoma.
I don't think they made the playoffs with him.
Why do you think they didn't make the playoffs? Why do you think they never made the playoffs with Green?
I don't think they made the playoffs until Harden and Westbrook got there. Or Harden, yeah. I don't think they made the
Harden
playoffs.
was on the bench. Harden was coming
Yeah,
off the
Harden
bench.
was
He
on
was
the
the
bench,
sixth
I
man.
I think. Anyway,
I would need to know. I feel like Jeff Green got injured that year, didn't play, then got traded to Boston. Well, look it up.
Jeff Green did have a playoff appearance in 2009-2010 as an Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay, all right. They
He
weren't
played 37 minutes a game in the playoffs. So he was clearly starting.
I'll talk about the killer.
Well, let me just say this though. I like Jeff Green. I think he's fantastic. I think next year
Well, we all like Jeff Green. We're not arguing about it, Jeff Green. We're wondering why Jeff Green doesn't do it.
Because he's up and down. That's why he's up and down. And he's not. I don't think he accepts the challenge. I don't think he appreciates like his level of skill. Like I don't think he understands how talented he is. He doesn't play every night. He doesn't have a motor. Draymond, dude, he's out there and he's thugging the entire game. Whether he's shooting terrible from the field, there's nothing that he's not doing. Like if he's not scoring, he's playing hella defense. He's all over the place on the court. And it's not like he's like an athletic. He's not athletic. He's just strong and he has great instincts. But I mean, I'll take Draymond Green over Jeff Green like any day of the week.
How many points per game in 2012-2013 is a Boston Celtic did Jeff Green average in the playoffs in 6 playoff games? How many points per game?
It's probably close to 20. It's probably close to 20.
It's 20.
I mean,
this is 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's probably.
So what I'm saying is, you know what?
I'm not surprised by that.
All I'm saying is, Jermaine, Jeff Green is better than you're saying. Like you're forgetting how good he is. Like Draymond just played today and he played well. We just watched Jeff Green play like garbage.
How do you know how bad I'm saying Jeff Green is? I'm not giving like some sort of like this. I haven't given any sort of ranking on how bad he is. I'm just saying that I would take Draymond Green over him at this point in both of their careers, just because I feel like when I see Jeff Green out there, he's just I don't know. Like I said, we talked about it since he joined the Grizzlies. I think he's got an identity issue, and when he's out there on the court, he's not really doing any. He have his occasional stupid dunk on somebody, but he didn't really shoot that well. I mean, I think he shot like 30, maybe 34% from the arc as a Grizzly or something like that. But I mean, he doesn't look great offensively. It's just like he doesn't really do a whole lot of things well. Maybe it's just
Well,
the way that
let me say this about it. I agree with you. I think Draymond Green helps any team in any situation, anytime on any roster.
Absolutely.
I think he's that type of a guy. But in fairness to Jeff Green, I mean, you got to look at the turbulent kind of career he's had, right? Like, he was displaced out of OKC. Then he was injured. We knew about the big injury that blew out his leg for a year. He's rounding back into shape. Came to Boston, played behind a bunch of guys. Then all those guys got kicked out of town. And then he's the man for like a little while. And then they ship him out of town to Memphis, where he's like the fourth.
He had a congenital heart disease.
Yeah. The heart condition. I'm sorry. I said leg. Yeah. Had the heart condition, right? I mean, so he is not – I think when you talk about having an identity crisis or being unable to figure out your place or role on a team, I think having stability and having an assured role and a position that you know is going to be there for you, I think that matters in your ability to contribute on the court.
I agree with that. Yeah, no, that's totally
And I think we've seen when he had those things, he was very effective.
Yeah.
And that's why I compared it to. I compared it to because I think they're very, very similar. They're tweeners. They're 3/4s. One of the things I would like to say too. This is not a 3 or a 4, a 6-7-4 playing against defending a center in the late 80s.
Right.
There are no low post centers in the playoffs. There isn't a single one. Being able to check Marc Gasol, you know what? Marc Gasol ain't that hot. He really ain't. And he doesn't play on the low block. So if he's not on the low block, what does it matter if I'm 6'7"? And Marc Gasol can't jump over a phone booth. So it don't matter that he's tall. He's a tall dude with short arms that can't jump.
Yeah, if he's not back, if he can't play with his back to the basket, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, you can have Draymond Green on him, and it doesn't really hurt you at all.
I'll put Rondo on him. I'll get to say Rondo, check Marc Gasol. He ain't gonna get more than 18. He ain't gonna get more than 18. I'm telling you, he won't. I watched Draymond Green put a knee up his butt, and the dude didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. And by the way, when Draymond was trying to check Zach, oh my God, that was a disaster. That was a disaster having him try to do that. And Zach Randolph and him are like basically the same height. But Zach is like the last. Zach Randolph is like watching a Stegosaurus walk around. And he like walked outside and there was a Stegosaurus walking by. Like, he was like, man, there ain't no more gold. That's what we're seeing with Zach Randolph. There may not ever be another.